And do you have that video ready that I sent you the link to? Did you see the link? I want to apologize first of all for any ads. This is YouTube, and I don't pay for YouTube, which means I gotta watch those stupid ads every 5 minutes. And all kinds of ads were popping up when I was doing a test on this video to make sure. So if an ad pops up, and some of them are just out there. Let's just say that. Okay? So if an ad pops up, Brother Greg, just mute it. Maybe we can watch it. But I don't want to hear it. Because there's some of them out there. I mean, one of them popped up while I was watching it yesterday, and it was disgusting. It was disgusting. So just mute that for me. If an ad pops up during our little video session there, Brother Greg, I would appreciate that. Just have your finger on the mute button. All right, so we're going to start with 2 Samuel 9 through 7. Chapter 9, verse 7. And David said unto him, Fear not, for I will surely show thee kindness for Jonathan thy father's sake, and will restore thee all the land of Saul thy father, and thou shalt eat bread at my table continually. Now remember, we talked about just a point to make here. You notice that he said Father Jonathan, and he said Father Saul. Remember, there is something in the Jewish, I guess you say Judaism, there is no grandfather. Remember, we were talking about that in our Bible study with, Nebuchadnezzar and Belteshazzar, okay? So when he says, my father in Belteshazzar, it's really the grandson of Nebuchadnezzar. Because you can see here, Jonathan for thy father's sake, Jonathan was not Mephibosheth's father. Jonathan was Mephibosheth's grandfather. And that would make Saul his great-grandfather. So just to point out that here we're talking about a few generations down. Okay? Now, so the truth that we're talking about in the lesson today is that God's grace is extended even to those that we think. And when I say that we think, I'm talking about in our minds, in our human minds, that we put them in categories. How many of you do that without even thinking? And I'll be honest, I do it. You almost have to consciously take your mind and go, wait a minute. Just because somebody looks a certain way, is coming from a certain background, or lives in a certain area, or whatever it is, we can't classify them as worthy or unworthy. Okay? Everybody's worthy. But in our human mind, we see somebody walking along the street, looks disheveled, dirty, unclean, and so in our mind, we immediately attach something to them, a label. Or we see somebody that is, Brother Larry was sharing with me that there were people in the church they were at before that wanted them out. Want them there. Now, Larry has a lot of tattoos on him. So the first thing, you may look at him and go, hey, he's got a lot of tattoos. And your mind, your fleshly mind begins to classify that. Okay? It's called bias. You look at somebody and you have bias. Okay? You see somebody and you immediately, how many of you would look at a picture of he's now senator from Pennsylvania. I can't think of his name. If you saw him, he looks like he belongs in a biker gang. He's now a senator in Pennsylvania. But if you looked at him, what he looked like, you would immediately begin, that can't be a senator. Doesn't look like a senator. So we have to be careful that we don't say that God's grace is undeserved. They're undeserving of God's grace because of the way they look because of where we think they might come from. We don't know their story. We don't know their environment. We don't know what their life was like. We got to be careful not to take our experiences and place them on somebody else. Okay? We got to be open to saying that God's grace is everybody's deserving of God's grace. And so we got to make up in our mind that we will receive the grace that we received, that we will extend it to others. Now, so we're going to see a video here of, his name is Nick Vujicic. Okay? He is born in Melbourne, Australia. He was the firstborn. They had sonograms, 3 sonograms, and everything looked fine. And then he was born with no arms and no legs. No indication that there was anything wrong. But you see, he went through this period of time, and you're going to see a little bit where people would ridicule him. You know, people made fun of him. Okay? But you look and see what he's done. Remember, God may give us challenges. It's not, and this goes to my message, God has a plan for us no matter what those challenges are. It's how we deal with them. What are we going to do with the challenge that is in our life? What are we going to do? So it's not why. The question is why. We ask it all the time. Why? You know what the answer is? The answer is how. How am I going to deal with it? How am I going to do this? How? That's our answer. So we can ask why all we want. We're never going to achieve anything if we always ask why. We need to look at it and go, how? How do I do this? So if you'll show that video, and you know what? I'm going to turn these lights down so it's easier to see. And just watch this. I've watched Nick Vujicic's ministry in churches. He does a lot of stuff for schools and kids because, I mean, you know, kids go through a whole lot in school. They go through bullying, being picked on, and so he's got a great message that he shares with kids in school, and then he's also ministers in churches. So if you could show that, and I think what you have to do is you have to, I'm being asked for assistance. You probably have to go to proclaim.
Shut it off.
And take it off air.
Okay.
And then move this. Well. Oh, it's up. Hold on. It's, yeah, it should be moving over.
Definitely play audio to it, but I'm sure you want to see it.
There we go. You can't exit it out of the. So you got. We want to go to 49.
It's already started. I mean, as far as the ads are skipped.
You know what? My parents are Serbian. I was born in Australia, living in California, but I'm a citizen of heaven. I want to share with you from the bottom of my heart the truth. The truth. What is the truth? You see my foot? Is it there? It's here. Hello. Is it it the truth that my foot's here? Yes? Yes. Hear an amen? Amen. I have one foot. True? Do I have 2 feet? Why not? Is the truth that I have 3 feet? Is it true that if you believe for 80 years that I have 3 feet, that I'll have 3 feet? Does your faith in that context determine reality? Is it possible just because you see 1 foot doesn't mean I have another one? What if I have 2? What if you're wrong? What if you believe only what you see and you never believe what you see, yet you would be wrong if you told me Nick has 1 foot? You would be wrong. True? Well, one thing you don't want to get wrong is knowing who God is and why you're here and who you are and where you're going when you're not here. Is that true? I'm going to introduce him, a little foot right here, little junior. Hello. Everybody say absolute. When you have an absolute truth, that means it's going to work for every single person in every situation at any given time. True? I want to share with you the truth is Jesus Christ. I want to share with you how he's changed my life and how he's going to change yours forever. My name is Nick Vujicic. I'm 26 years old. I'm pretty short for my age. This is my BMW 7 Series. I'm going to send it to Pimp My Ride. You know what I'm saying? I want to get this whole wheelchair bouncing down. Bah, 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 bah. Roll down the window, stick my arm out. You know what I'm saying? Not at the front window, the back window. You know how they whoop? Sort of heads in the back seat, but they're driving the car. I don't know what's with that. So cool. I was in the car one day. When you see me from the outside of the vehicle, you have no idea that I have no arms, no legs, right? All you see is my gorgeous face. And so at the traffic lights one night, and this car comes up next to us, and this girl's looking at me. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. So I look at her, and she looks at me, and I grab the seatbelt in my mouth to loosen it like this, so that I can freely move. Now, knowing that she only sees my head, all I did was this. I spoke 300 times last year. Did I say 300? Sparta. Did war 300 times and took about 120 flights. And every time I get on a flight, I always hope for a spare seat next to me for the extra leg room. You know what I'm saying? So my friends one day put me in the overhead compartment. It was my idea. I wanted to freak someone out. So I did. They wanted to handcuff me. You want to hear a couple more? I realized that if I want a spare seat on the plane, all I have to do is dress up in a pilot's uniform and greet the passengers as they get on the plane. Hello, sir. How you doing? Great. I'm your pilot today. Oh, wonderful. Just do what I do, just hold on with both hands. Okay. This boy comes up and he says, what happened? Went up to him and I go, cigarettes. One more? There's one little girl, she must have been watching movies about aliens or something. She looked at me, she freaked out, man. It was so funny. She's like, Mommy, look, it's an alien. A little offended, I went, Rah! she's like, ah! I'm running out to say, I'm going to eat you. You know. Shall we? Let's get into it. I was born in Australia 26 years ago to Christian parents who started a church, who preached about God's love, and then their son was born without limbs. No medical reason why I was born this way, no warning either. My mum had 3 ultrasounds done, and God hid from them the fact that their firstborn son was going to be born without arms and legs. I have a brother and a sister born after me, both with arms and legs, and I have 29 first cousins who also have limbs and no deficiencies to any point, physically speaking. I love my family. I grew up in church singing, Jesus loves me, this I know for the... And then singing the other song where it says, Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world. And then on Monday morning I went to school. And I said, God, if you love me like you love the other children, then why did you give me less?
Amen. This is an example of somebody who has faced the challenges that they were born with and decided to do something with it. And people may look at Nick Vujicic and immediately do that thing in their mind where they look at him and go, what can he do? What impact is he going to have? And he has had a tremendous impact traveling from school to school, helping kids deal with bullying, preaching in services to young people. If you watch that whole sermon, you will find out that it is geared toward the young people of that church. God has a plan for every single one of us. And I'm doing the same thing I always do. I'm trying not to get into my second service message. But it's up to us whether or not we want to accept God's plan for our life. We have the ability to say no. We have the ability to say yes. So God wanted to be the king of Israel. God wanted to be the king of the Israelites. But Israel rejected God because they saw the surrounding nations had kings and they wanted to have a king. So God, even though he was rejected by his own people, the people that he brought out of bondage in Egypt, the people that he performed miracle after miracle after miracle over, after leading them through the wilderness into the promised land and dealing with all the enemies they faced during the book of Judges, all of those enemies, the miracles that God performed, and they still rejected him. And he said, okay, I'm going to accommodate your request. And Samuel, who was the last judge of Israel and became the first prophet of Israel, anointed Saul to be king. And instead of executing the will of God, Saul chose to execute his own will. And God ultimately rejected Saul because Saul believed his ways were better than God's. And this is what led to a young boy named David being anointed as king. Now, this goes to this thing. When Samuel showed up at Jesse's house, God told him to go to the house of Jesse because the next king of Israel is in the house of Jesse. Jesse brought out all of his boys, but the one that he did not think could be king. David was discounted because of who he was and what he did. You can imagine Samuel gets there. He knows he's been called to Jesse's house. Jesse brings out all of his boys. And Samuel is going down the line. And God says, no. Goes to the next one. God says, no. Of Jesse's boys. Now, Samuel knows that God sent him here. And so he asks Jesse, Jesse, is this all of your boys? No. There's little David out there taking care of the sheep. I don't think he's king material. If you're coming to anoint a king, it can't be David. Because he doesn't measure up. He is not a warrior. He is not a leader. He's just a shepherd. And Samuel says, go get him. So they bring David in, and then Samuel sees David. And God says, yes. You may feel like that there is no plan in the kingdom of God for you. But I'm here to tell you that there is a plan in the kingdom of God for everyone. It's just a matter of whether we say yes or no, whether we're willing to accept it. The word grace, we use this to talk about somebody, like a ballet dancer. Oh, it was graceful. And it may be utilized to express gratitude for that was a gracious donation. But the Bible uses the word grace to refer that the way God continues to view and respond to humanity favorably. God's grace is God's decision to respond to us favorably when we don't deserve to be. That's why it is called the unmerited favor. Trump talks about we're going to have a merit-based economy. But in God's world, he extends his grace to all. There is no merit that you can do to earn God's grace. God's grace is given to everyone. It's just a matter, are we going to receive it? Adam and Eve ate from the tree and realizing that they were naked, and God still responded to them in a favorable manner by giving them clothes. When Israel cried out to the Lord after many years of bondage, God was favorable to them and sent a deliverer, which was Moses. Then, when Israel's request for a king violated God's commandments, God responded with an unmerited favor again by anointing a new king, and then one who God said, this is the one, because he was a man after God's own heart. We need to be able to recognize that God's grace in our lives is undeserved. There is nothing that we did to earn the grace of God. There is nothing that we did. The idea that human beings are somehow got a raw deal from God, unfortunately, it's common. People question, why is this happening to me? We believe that we have worked so hard that we are entitled. Y'all ever heard the entitlement mentality? We're entitled to rewards and virtues and privileges and blessings. But when we really understand Romans 3:23, which says, for all have sinned and fallen short. All have sinned and fallen short. We realize that none of us deserve the grace of God. So instead of responding with justice, we say, we've heard that there's a song out there about being in the courtroom and the verdict But Jesus stepped in and said, I'm going to give you an unmerited gift, and that is grace. And if you will do what I tell you to do, repent and be baptized in Jesus' name, I will give you the greatest gift of all, and that is forgiveness. That's one of the greatest gifts we can give to each other, is being unforgiving. Being forgiving. Not to be unforgiving, but to be forgiving. Anybody that's done us wrong in our mind, anybody that we feel that's done us wrong, to go to them and say, I forgive you. And then also to apologize for something that we may have done, to say, I'm sorry. Remember, I've said this before, God does not see us for who we are. He sees us for who we can be through him. God has a plan. He uses grace for transformation in our lives so that we become the people he calls us to be. He gives so graciously in Psalms 23 that our cup runneth over. He gives us grace so that we may lead up along the process of transformation, healing, and reconciliation. Our cup does not run over for us to be secure just in God's abundant grace, but our cup runs over so that we can be a blessing to others, that they can experience God's abundant grace and mercy because we can help them. We can help them to understand because they can see the abundant grace and mercy, so that we can share and spread that to all those around us. And so David, when he is king, David had a friendship with Saul's son, Jonathan. And that friendship, if you read in 1 Samuel, you'll read how that Jonathan loved David. And David loved Jonathan. Now, Jonathan didn't have to love David, because when you think about it, Jonathan would be in succession to the throne, wouldn't he? Jonathan knew that David had been anointed king. They easily could have been enemies. As a matter of fact, it was common in those days that when somebody stepped into the throne, that the family of the previous king was brought and slaughtered, because they didn't want any retribution. The king, worried about his throne, did not want any retribution from the previous family. David did not do this. He sought out the family of Saul. That would maybe explain why Mephibosheth was not in the city, that he was outside, because his family said, we need to get him out of here, because we don't want the current king to do something and take his life, to make sure that there's no rebellion or retribution brought on David. So let's get him out of here. And David sent for him, and David said, I'm going to return everything that was your great-grandfather's. I'm going to return it all to you. And not only that, but you will eat at my table for the rest of the days of your life. And Mephibosheth, what was wrong with Mephibosheth? Does anybody remember what was wrong with him? His feet. He was lame. In Jewish culture, somebody that was lame, they said something must have occurred, some sin must have occurred, either through that person or through that family. But David, being who he was, understanding where God brought him from a little shepherd boy, where God, he slew Goliath, saved against the bear and the lion, and brought him into the king of Israel. And he said, I'm going to show grace to the great-grandson of the man that tried to kill me. Even when David had opportunity to kill Saul, he did not. It actually goes to speak to something that is very important, and that is, do not. Remember, Saul was
said, I will not touch God's anointed. Saul may have been trying to kill David, but David understood that Saul was the anointed king, and he said, I won't do it. So David finds Mephibosheth, brings him into the palace. He is lame. He cannot walk, and shows Mephibosheth grace. And we got to remember to extend grace to those who appear undeserving. Others, like I said, would see Mephibosheth as a sinner due to his disability, but David saw someone who he could show God's grace to. As Christians, our cup is also running over. God calls us to extend that grace to others, especially those that in our mind that we initially look at and we say they are not there the grace of God. We cannot rate somebody as undeserving because everyone is deserving of God's grace. 1 Peter 4:10 says, as every man hath received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. God called us to be good stewards and good managers. We read about this in the parable of the talents, right? He says, I want you to be good stewards. Don't take what I've given you and bury it, but take what I've given you and invest it. In that parable, it's not just about the money. It's an example. If God has given you a sweet, kind disposition, then take that sweet, kind disposition and invest it into the people around you. If God has given you a talent for something, don't bury it. Invest that talent into the church and into the people around you. It doesn't have to be in the church. It can be your neighbor. Somebody you may be really good at flowers and gardening and landscaping. Offer to do that for your neighbor. Invest it into this world. What God has given you, don't take it and bury it. Because remember what happened to the one with the one talent. He buried it, and all he did was have it there when the master came back, and the master said, you wicked and slothful servant. God expects us that as we, in 1 Peter 4:10, what we just read, as every man hath received the gift, even so minister that same gift to one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. Amen. Let's stand. Back in 1969, I think it was, how many of you remember Mr. Rogers? Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. You know, he did something that was completely controversial in 1969. He had a small children's swimming pool, cooling his feet on a hot day, on his it's a television show, and he invited Francois Clements, who was an African-American police officer, to come and put his feet in the pool that his feet were in. He was demonstrating that grace is for everyone. He was saying it doesn't matter, and I'm telling you, it doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter your national origin. I know that our area is mainly what you would call Caucasian, white Caucasian. But I would love to have just a church full of all different kinds of races and nationalities. When I was in Washington, D.C., and the church we went to there, I loved it because we had people people from all different races and nationalities, and it was just so vibrant to be with those people. I remember my son, when we moved to Tennessee, I don't know if I've shared this with you before, but they said, he was 3 years old. This is Andrew. He was 3 years old. And they said, we want you to draw a picture of your family. And so when I went to go pick him up from school, his preschool teacher said, we asked Andrew to draw a picture of his family. And he drew a picture, but one of these people on this picture is brown. I said, oh, that's Grandma Eva. So we had these ladies in the church there that just beautiful, beautiful African-American ladies. And we called them, the church was in Clinton. We called them the Clinton Gems. Because it was Juanita, Eva, and Maddie. The Clinton Gems. They would get up and sing. I loved playing for them. I couldn't play a lick of black gospel music. But I loved playing for them. They would sing Shirley Caesar and Dorothy Norwood. And one of those ladies, we just always told Andrew, this is Grandma Eva. I love the fact that he didn't care. Grandma Eva, it wasn't that she was black. She just had a different color of skin than we did. There was nothing there other than the fact that he colored her the way that she was. And the teacher wanted to know, why is she brown? Well, because she's an African-American woman. That's why. And that's the way we got to look at this world. Race, color, or national origin, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where they come from. They are deserving of God's grace.